here it goes. Welcome back to the barbershop. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I have a very special video for you guys. We will be ranking all of the returning Pokemon in Pokemon Home, dropping very soon. My estimate's probably in just a couple few short weeks. And we'll be discussing the viability of these Pokemon compared to the current Pokemon Scarlet and Violet meta and predicting their tiering. Be sure to drop a like if you guys enjoy this content. It really helps me out a lot. Maybe we can get this video to 50 likes. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, have a peek, have a look. See, there are 60 Pokemon here that I'm going to be ranking and tiering for you guys from banned to Ubers down through non-meta. Now, not every single Pokemon is here. I've excluded Uber Pokemon that are most likely obviously going to be in Ubers. There may be some that drop down, you never know. Like Zamazenta, there's a lot going on with this Pokemon right now. I think it'll end up being in Ubers. It is not on this list. It very well could be in OU. I think it's in OU right now in Natdex, but it's not on this list. I'm considering it in an Uber. And then, of course, the Little Cupper and the unevolved Pokemon are not on this list either. I do have all the Hisuian Pokemon and all the other forms like Alolan, Dugtrio, and Galarian, Slowking, etc. So let's get right into this. Let's grab a Pokemon. Again, this is comparing these to the current Scarlet and Violet meta, not necessarily towards each other. We're going to discuss how they will fit in compared to things like Great Tusk, etc. So let's start it right off by grabbing this one. What I grab? Oh, Mew. What a way to start. What a way to start. Now, I believe Mew is going to be an A tier Pokemon. I did make some notes over here. So if you see me looking over here and doing a little squint action, that's because I've made some notes about these Pokemon so that I can give you guys a pretty accurate representation of where I think they'll be and what they will do. Yes, I do have Mew in the A tier according to my notes and according to my brain. Now, from what I can see here, folks, Mew has lost Defog, which is kind of big, but it looks like it's kept a lot of other things. It's kept Knockoff, it's kept Nasty Plot, it's kept Spikes, all the Hazards T-Spikes that it got recently. It still learns every TM according to what I can see here. So long story short, I know, and this is a big tier list, Mew, A tier for sure. And Psychic type is so good, and the way that you can build this guy, I think he's actually going to do great in the meta. I think he's going to counter a lot of things like Great Tusk. So it's not going to have hazard removal, but it is going to be able to set hazards up. So still an A tier Pokemon because it can still learn everything. It's going to be a great offensive weapon. It can still U-turn out, Volt Switch out, things like this. So A tier Pokemon for Mew. Now let's grab this guy. Who do we have? Thunderous Therian. I believe I'm gonna have him in the C tier. Yes, we have Thunderous Therian in the C tier. Still has a great ability in Volt Absorb. And electric types are going to be very good to hit things like Dondozo, Toxapex, Azumarill. But this guy is not, I don't think he's gonna be quite as good as the other Thunderous. It does not have Defog like it used to, but it doesn't really run that anyway. It's usually a Nasty Plot, Agility Sweeper. I still think it could be really good. It could almost be B tier, but we're gonna put him in C tier for right now. Maybe we'll move him around a little bit later. Let's grab this guy. Let's grab Hisuian Electrode. I think he will be in non-meta, no, D tier. I've got him in here in D tier. I think he'll see some usage. I don't think he'll drop to PU. I think maybe even down to NU. Maybe see some usage in RU. A very, very, very fast Pokemon. I believe at 150 base speed, just like regular Electrode. And a couple cool moves in Chloroblast. It can explode and it can taunt, I believe, and early on, but could be a cool lead. Maybe even see, I don't see him as non-meta. I'm gonna put him in the D tier for now. Speaking of D tier, here comes Tauros, regular Cantonian Tauros, regular Tauros. I believe non-meta. I do have Tauros in the non-meta. I just don't think he's that. I don't think he's that normal type anymore. He does have that 110 base speed, but I do think there are better normal types out there. When are we gonna get Snorlax back? There are a lot of things that counter this. I think, you know, you've got even Ursaring and Ursaluna are normal types coming in, and I think the other Tauros with Intimidate are going to be a little bit better. So you never know. I think it could pick up some usage in NU. Maybe it's D tier. Maybe it's D tier. He's fast. We'll put him in D tier for right now. Who's a banger? Who's getting banned to Ubers? I'll tell you one that's getting banned to Ubers. Spectrier, here's Spectrier, banned to Ubers for sure. I left him on the list because I don't think he's considered a legendary. I think he's like a sub-legendary. I think he's considered when he combines with Calyrex, then he becomes like a true legendary. But I think he'll end up being banned to Ubers, no questions asked. The boy's too fast and too strong. And if they took off Nasty Plot, then maybe not. But He's too fast and too strong. I'm going to put him in Ban to Oops for Spectre. There he goes. Who else is great? Who's S tier? Do I have an S tier? Oh, I think I have Ursaluna up here in S tier. Skaboom. Yeah, definitely S tier for Ursaluna. Why? Because it's broken. I think it'll be broken. Now, some of you guys are saying that he could just be UU even. UUBL, OU for sure. You know, one of the most powerful physical attackers I've ever seen in the game with like 140 or 145 base attack with guts, facade. He's gonna hit like an absolute monster, and he has that headlong rush, close combat, incredible coverage, setup options, belly drum, bulk up, swords dance, and just so much physical coverage, you guys, because he comes from the Ursaring line, which is just gets every move. So this thing, I think I'm going to put him in S tier. I think he's just that good. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. He's a little slow. I think he's based like 45 or 40 or 50 speed around there. But yeah, he's that good. He's that good. We'll put him in S tier for right now. Who do we have? You know who I think would be an interesting Pokemon? Let me talk about old Diancie first of all. I'm going to put Diancie, I believe, in C tier. Do I have C tier? I do have Diancie in C tier. Let me tell you why. Gonna be a great rocker. Fairies are always great. Now, it can still gonna get checked by all the ground types, Lando T, Great Tusk, when Excadrill comes back, of course, Iron Treads, etc. The water types are gonna hit really hard. But you know what I think is cool about Diancie? Not only can it set up hazards, but it gets access to like Iron Defense, Body Press, and of course, Calm Mind. But what really Diancie is gonna make great use of is Terastallization. So this thing comes in with a defensive build, clicks Calm Mind, and terastallizes into a water type or a grass type or a steel type or a normal type, something weird, right? Fire type, something that resists steel and maybe ground or maybe water. I think it could be a really cool, interesting sweeper. It gets Draining Kiss, I believe, so I think it will have some viability. I see it maybe in RU, maybe usage in UU. I think it's a really cool Pokemon. Of course, 600 base stat total. I think it'd be a really cool Terastallizer, catch things off guard. Who else is really cool? Shoo-wee. I'll tell you who I think is good. Ooh, speaking of Terastallizer, let's grab Regidraco while we're at it. Do I have him in B tier? Now, according to my notes, I have Regidraco down in C tier. So the reason being, of course, it gets like 0 coverage. All of its moves are like all dragon moves, and they're super powerful dragon moves boosted by that ability Dragon's Maw. But with its ability to Terastallize into like a fairy type and hit Fairy Terra Blast or something ice type or something fire, right? I think that's going to be really good for Regidraco. Could almost be seen in B tier with Dragon Dance or Specs or Band or even Scarfit. Maybe a B tier, but I think maybe high C will be high C, not the juice. Maybe high C for Regidraco right now. Definitely going to want to Terastallize this Pokemon to get the most out of it. And kind of the same idea for, let's just talk about the other Regi. Where's Regieleki? I think definitely A tier for Regieleki. One of the Pokemon that I think originally when I heard about Terastallization, I thought was going to be very powerful, almost broken because of its ability, because this thing has like all electric moves, right? It also gets like Explosion and Ancient Power, Swift, and that's about, I think it gets like Thief or like one dark type move, but all it does is hit electrically. Ice type, turn this baby into an ice type, a fire type, a grass type, a water type, a fairy type. It's gonna be a Terra Blast abuser. So fast, like 200 speed or like 180 or something. Yeah, 200, I think. Something incredibly fast. I forget what its speed is, but it's the fastest Pokemon in the game by far, and it's coming back here to set up screens, and it gets rapid spin. So I definitely see this Pokemon with major usage in OU. Big OU usage. I don't think it's quite S tier. It's a little frail. I mean, it's gonna be pretty reliant on Terastallization in order to make good use of it, but you don't have to, right? It's still gonna be a great electric Pokemon, setting up screens and spinning, exploding, and hitting things extra hard with electric type moves. So I'm gonna put Regieleki in the A tier. Let's grab a Hisuian Samurai. Hisuian Samurai. Interesting Pokemon. In my previous Hisuian Pokemon tier listing, I think I had him up very high, maybe A tier. That Ceaseless Edge move, setting up spikes every time you go for it, and being boosted by its ability Sharpness, being a water and dark type, I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I think he's gonna get usage in OU. I think he'll maybe end up falling down to UU. I think regular Samurai, who just came out, maybe end up falling down to RU or below, but water and dark is very, very good. And it gets other moves that are boosted by its ability Sharpness, and now it actually hits harder on the physical side as opposed to the special side, as opposed to regular Samurott, where it's inverted 108 to 100. So now he hits harder on the physical side, still gets access to Swords Dance. That Ceaseless Edge move is going to be a deal breaker. Put him in high B tier, maybe A, high B compared to these other guys. Now, guys, this is just my thoughts and opinion. If you disagree, you have to drop a like. That's what you got to do. Cool. There we go. Who's cool? Cresselia? Cresselia is coming back. Now, Cresselia, great Pokemon. I don't know all the moves that it's lost, but it's going to be a phenomenal Terrastalizer, turning into like a fairy type, dark type, a fighting type, a fire type, a water type. This Pokemon is going to be really annoying. Even a poison type with Levitate, can't Toxic it. I think it's going to be really good for Cresselia. On my notes, I have it in the B and the C tier, but I think it could almost move up to B tier. I think it's going to be really scary and good Pokemon. It gets great coverage. It gets Ice Beam, Moonblast, Psychic. I believe it gets Stored Power now. Hope if it still gets Moonblast, it's going to be great. I don't know. I probably, of course, I know it gets T-Wave, but I'm sure it lost Toxic like everything did, but almost B tier. I'm going to put it in high C tier. I think it's a massive threat, you guys, especially going to love Terrastalizing. And it's so bulky. Crest has always been bulky. I believe they nerfed it, though. I believe they actually reduced its stats. I think they hacked down either its defense or its special defense by like 10 points. Maybe on both sides. They made it weaker. It was just too bulky. So maybe C tier for Crest right now, but I think it's going to be has some cool options, especially on the Terastallization side. Volcanion is an A tier Pokemon. Volcanion is an A tier Pokemon, almost S. I love its water absorbability, so good in the meta right now. This thing's gonna hard check, almost hard check, Walking Wake, those other Pokemon that want to hit water type attacks. The water absorb is so good. This thing's gonna check like Azumarill. Water and fire, it's the only water and fire typing ever released, and its ability to terrastallize is only gonna make it even crazier. Turn into a ground type or something, and it hits so hard. Hopefully it still gets Steam Eruption. Did they get rid of, I think they got rid of Steam Eruption. Nope, according to Cerebi in Gen 9, this boy still starts with Steam Eruption. It's still 110 base power, 95% accuracy. So I think it's still going to be great. I think they left on a lot of great moves for this guy. Yeah, I think a lot of great moves left on Volcanion. So I think an A tier Pokemon, guys. I can't wait to use him in OU. I think he's base 70 speed, so you might want to Scarf him to blow some things back like Great Tusk, etc. But maybe you make him a Ghost type, make him a Spin Blocker and an Annihilation. But yeah, A tier Pokemon for Volcanion right there. What a beast, what a beast. You know who I think is non-meta? I think this guy, even though it's pure Dark type, and it's got some cool tech with like Technician and Fur Coat, and it gets like Taunt. He's actually pretty fast, I believe, for a bulky defensive. You just don't see him use much. Now, it does fit on some kind of like stall builds and defensive type builds, but nah, maybe NU, maybe PU. It just gets blown back on the special side, and other things do everything better. We'll put him in non-meta right now. I'm sorry. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys what they've done to my boy Zapdos. I want to go ahead and continue to put Zapdos in the S tier. Guys, they removed Defog from Zapdos, unfortunately. They left Roost on it, they left Hurricane on it, and Heat Wave, Volt Switch, U-Turn, no Toxic, obviously, but it basically still, I think it has all the other moves that it used to have, except no more Defog. And that's the same thing for all of the Hisuian birds and all the things like Lando, Torn, etc. So really bad for these guys. It was one of its staple moves, but Zapdos still has the great static ability, Volt Switch out, come in, Roost up, Hurricane, and the rain is great with Thunder. Other than that, you know, you got Heat Wave. It's about all you can do now. Rocky Helmet's still there, Boots, but it was such a great defogger. I still think the typing is so good, and maybe one day it'll get defogged back. Maybe we'll get a move tutor. All these guys will get defogged back. Who knows how it's gonna work, but I had to leave it in S tier right now. Losing Defog, is it enough to knock Zapdos down to A? I'm on Zapdos buttsack. I have been since 1992, so I gotta leave him in S tier. Sorry, you guys, sorry. Love him, there he goes. Now, let's look at the Guardian trio. I believe I have Azelf, the fastest one, up in B tier at 115 speed. If it still gets all the hazards and taunt shenanigans and access to Calm Mind and Nasty Plot, that's gonna be really good for this thing at 115 base speed. Now, it's a little bit frail, but I believe it can U-turn out. You can Scarf it, you can Specs it, and Psychic is a very powerful offensive type in the game right now. I'm gonna put it in low B, because I do think of all the Guardian trio, it's going to have the most usage. On that note, I think Uxie is second best. I'll put it in C. And I think Mesprit is the least best. I'll put it down here in D. maybe UU, maybe RU, maybe NU. You guys know how it works. These are kind of based on how they've used in the past. A lot of it, I mean, they have the levitate ability. So if you terrestrialize these guys into something crazy like a fire type, a dark type, fairy type, gonna be good for them. But let's just put them there for now. We'll see how they fare. I haven't done all the research on every move that all these Pokemon have lost. That would have taken way too long. So if they have lost some moves and I haven't seen and they've gotten much worse, or they may have gotten better with that. I think in Hisui, they got like some special move that may translate over to be really good in home. If you guys know what that is, put it in the comments, let me know. But I think I'm gonna put them there, B, C, and D tier, kind of based on their, like I said, their past usage and where I think they may fall. I don't think OU, but maybe some UU usage for these guys. Okay, speaking of Pokemon that I love and still, let's put, okay, Torn Eye, Thundy Eye, still gets Nasty Plot, still gets Prankster, T-Wave, still gets Volt Switch, U-Turn, Bulk Up, still has great physical and special move pool and coverage. I looked him up. Did lose Defog though. Yeah, I get why the Prankster Defog getting rid of that. Still gets Tailwind, still gets Screens, I believe. So I believe they took off Knockoff though. Let me double check, see if they got rid of Knockoff on Old Boy. Yeah, they did. They got rid of Knockoff on Old Boy. They got rid of Knockoff. Windbolt Storm, that's not going to do anything though. They got rid of Knockoff on him and they got rid of Defog. What can you do? Still a really cool offensive Pokemon, 111 base speed, still going to be a great Nasty Plot user, still going to get that Prankster T-Wave, still going to be able to U-turn out, Bulk Up if you want, but no Knockoff. But I think he's a great B-tier Pokemon. I think Regieleki is going to outclass, and I think Zapdos is going to outclass. So bad about the losing Defog on Zapdos, but still such a great physical wall and check. And it can be built offensively too with 125 special attack, 100 base speed. But I think I'll put him down here. Regieleki still gets that spin, which is great. But I'm going to put him down here in B tier. Very, very threatening. High B probably because Nasty Plot, Focus Blast can sweep things. Still no Hurricane for the boy. He's never gotten it, but maybe one day he will. Let's grab Delphox. Delphox I have actually in C tier right now. 104 speed is really trolly. It's actually a really good speed. Outspeeds things like Garchomp, all those other base 100s. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit 105, but it gets obviously Mystical Fire Stab. It gets Fairy coverage, Energy Ball, Psychic moves like this. It could be a really cool Terrastalizer, Calm Mind. It's actually pretty powerful. Fire and Psychic has really good coverage like Victini. We'll have to see how it fares. I don't think it'll be OU, maybe UU. I'm just gonna put it in C tier. I don't think it's completely worthless. I think it's a good Pokemon. Let's grab Old Broken. Let's grab Old Broken. Bandaoobs. That is Basculegion. I think that Smogon in singles format is going to say nope. That last respects too good. That's all you got to say. We'll have to again see what they end up doing with Basculin. Is it going to get banned because of last respects too, or is it just not going to be? Maybe it'll be used in UU, RU, OU. We'll have to see what happens if they end up just banning last respects or if they end up just banning the Pokemon that learn it all together. But I think at first it'll probably get Bazan straight to Izubers. Goodbye, Basculegion. Love you. We'll see you later. Let's grab Cleavor. Where did I have Cleavor? I think B, maybe even A. Maybe B. Let's put him B. Where did I put him? I do have Cleavor in the B tier according to my notes. The move, the Blade Axe, Stone Axe, setting up rocks, really powerful. I believe it also gets Sharpness and other moves that are gonna be boosted by Sharpness. And it also gets Sheer Force and Swords Dance, I believe. It's gonna be a great Pokemon. You might want to run Boots on it. It could be Choice Banded as well. We'll have to see where it falls. I don't think it'll be quite into A tier because Bug Rock is not the best typing ever, but it's not bad. It's good. It's one of the better bug typings. I think it may be in UU. It may see some usage in OU. I think it's going to hit really, really hard, you guys, with that 135 attack. Pretty good speed, I believe, at 85. So we'll put him in B tier for right now. Articuno's just been calling to me. Articuno, I think, is going to be non-meta, if not low D, especially losing Defog. All these birds lost Defog. So Articuno with pressure and boots can fit on some stall teams as a Spadefmon. Freeze Dry, I believe it still gets a U-turn. Hurricane, not horrible. It's got good stats, but the ice and flying is one of the worst typings in the game, being quad weak to rock and can't touch steel, etc. I think I might put it in non-meta or low D. I'll put him in non-meta for right now, but it may see some usage in NU. Maybe I'll put him in D for right now. We'll put him in non. No, I hate to do it to him. I love Articuno. Who's my Pokemon Go team? Okay, let's grab Sneasler. Sneasler. S tier, A tier, high A for Sneasler. I don't think quite S. It loves to set up, but Dondozo exists. Fighting and Poison is an amazing offensive typing. It's going to hit those Steel types super effectively and those Fairy types super effectively, but it gets annihilated by Psychic types. The good news is this guy's got base 120 speed, so he's going to be outspeeding most, if not all, Psychic types. I think it gets Sucker Punch and Swords Dance and a lot of great. I think it gets that not Cross Poison, but Dire Claw, very powerful move. I think an A tier Pokemon, guys. We'll have to put it up here in A, and we'll have to see if it's a good Terrasilizer, maybe into like a Flying type, to dodge those EQs coming in from Great Tusk, right? Who's going to be want to check it. Also like Lando. Speaking of Lando, guys, let's go ahead and just put Lando T up here in S tier. And I think I'll put him at the top of S tier. I do think he's still it. It does not have defog anymore, and I believe they got rid of knockoff as well on the boy. So big nerf to Lando, but still such a good defensive pivot, sets up hazards. Can U-turn out, right? Rocky Helmet is great. It's also going to be a very good offensive threat with Swords Dance. I believe it lost Rock Polish, unfortunately, but I still think it's going to be so good. I definitely don't see him. I still see him very top use in OU just because the Intimidate ability is still so good. I mean, they nerfed Intimidate a little bit by how they made a few other abilities immune to Intimidate, like Oblivious, I believe, and like Scrappy, I believe, and I believe a few other ones they made immune to Intimidate, but still got to be S tier for Lando. You already know he is. And speaking of Lando, let's just grab the other one while we're at it. Lando I, banned to Ubers, still got Sheer Force Life Orb, still has every coverage move on the special side and on the physical side. Don't think he gets knockoff anymore, doesn't need it. The boy clicks Psychic, Sledge Wave, Earth Power, Focus Blast. It's Good Night, Nighttime, Calm Mind. Unfortunately, it did lose. I think it's losing Rock Polish as well, but he going to Ubers like he always does. We'll see ya. We have, where's Zarude going? How about Decidueye? How about Hisuian Decidueye? I think B tier for this guy. I don't think he is the premier grass fighting typing. I think that's going to go to Lilligant, who I'm going to put in A tier with that Victory Dance, the physical quiver dance. Goodbye. That's all you need to say about this thing. And also it can Terrasilize into something that's going to resist, like an electric type, a fire type, something crazy, a fairy type, right? Gonna be great for Hisuian Lilligant. I think this with the triple arrows is gonna be very powerful. Hisuian Decidueye, Swords Dance, but still, it's a little slower, I believe, at base 70. I think may see UU usage. I think he's very powerful. The triple arrows ability, having the ability to crit, flinch, and confuse you or something like that. It's going to be very, very troll. We'll have to see what happens. He may even be a good Scarfer. Gets U-turn. I believe he gets all the same moves that regular Decidueye have. I believe it also still does get the like defog knockoff. Still might be the only Pokemon in the game that's getting both defog and knockoff. So that's cool for it, but I still think Lilligant is the superior grass and fighting type as an offensive threat, and the ability to Terrasilize is going to be so scary. That's actually pretty scary. I put it in A tier. Move it right there. Who's S tier again? Single Strike. This is Single Strike right here, I believe. Single Strike, Bear, Water Bear, Urshifu, S tier, guys. It breaks through. The thing is about it is you don't have to set up with it. You don't have to Swords Dance. You don't have to bulk up because of that Wicked Blow. Banned it. Close combat, poison jab, U-turn, so good. That doesn't hit that quite 100 base speed, but guys, it got banned to Ubers last gen. I think it'll stay in OU at very high usage. It may get banned. It breaks through all setup and hits extra hard. Now, fairies do Blowco it back as a dark fighting type, but it can Terrasilize now, you guys. So I think S tier Pokemon for Single Strike, and I think while we're at it, let's go ahead and put Rapid Strike in A tier. It was high usage in OU last gen, high usage in Nat Dex. I think he's going to be up there. Swords Dance, Aqua. Now he gets Swords Dance now. Last generation, of course, had access to Bulk Up. Again, the Surging Strikes, the triple hit water move hits extra hard. U-turn, close combat, poison jab. Really all you need. They're offensive monsters. S tier and A tier in my opinion, and again, boy has the ability to Terrasilize, turn into an electric type, turn into a fairy type, turn into just a pure water type, grass type, go crazy. They hit very, very hard, and they've got enough bulk, I think, with the 100 base defense. Great Pokemon, I see them at S tier and A tier. What do we have? Where's Glacier? Glacier, I believe I have in C tier. I think it's better than people give it credit for, man. And especially, again, the ability to terastallize it now. But this thing has ridiculous stats. It's got like 145 attack, like 130 defense, like 110 spadef, like over 100 HP. Now it's slow and it's great on Trick Room. It's looking good for Trick Room. Some things are coming back that are going to be good on Trick Room. And I think Glacier is one of them. It's just the grass, or excuse me, the ice and ground coverage that it has with high horsepower, its ability to terastallize, it doesn't have to be a pure ice type anymore. I'm gonna put it in low C. I think the thing, for some reason, being so slow, it's always seen really low usage. I think last gen it was like in U. Maybe it ended up moving up to RU, but I think it was in U. But I'm putting it in low C. I think he's much better than these guys down here. And I think it may even see, I mean, you bring this guy to OU, it's a threat. You banned this thing, it is a threat, you guys. I'll have to put it in C, maybe even B tier, but I think Glacier will put it in C tier right now. Amazing stats, hits really hard, and has the coverage it needs to do big work. Looking at Dugtrio Alola with that hair. Look at the fob, young Fabio. I like this one. This is I think it's like the Three Stooges. I gotta put it in non-meta. It's base 110 speed, I believe, or instead of, I don't know, how 120. It used to be 120. I think they slowed it down, but it'll be another ground steel type coming into the game. It just doesn't see much usage. It doesn't have the ability, Arena Trap, like regular Dugtrio, and it's banned in Smogon singles anyway, but Tangled Hair is not that good, and it's fast, but yeah, I can set up, I think, hazards and spikes, but I'm gonna put it in non-meta. Maybe it'll be down there in NU, maybe even PU, but I see him being a little bit lower. I'm gonna put him in non-meta right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it got like any usage in last generation. Okay, let's grab the Hoopas. Okay, Hoopa Unbound. Hoopa Unbound A tier. I think it may be an OU, you guys. It hits extremely hard. I believe it's like a nasty plot. It can, what, 160 attack, 170 special attack. And you can band it, you can scarf it, you can specs it, and you can't protect on it. I'll put it in A tier because it's got, you're right, it's got that the darkest explosion move, so it breaks through all protect and it kills you. Dark and Psychic is a really good offensive typing. Frail to U-turn, but if you scarf it, and you never know what it's going to do, right? It could be sash, it could be scarf, banded, like I said, specs, and it can blow you back. It can definitely OHKO you. Now again, things that like bulky Dondozo exists, so Dondozo checks everything. I love Dondozo. I'll put him in A tier anyway. He may end up falling to UUBL, but the thing is a monstrous threat. This isn't Natdex. This is Dexit. Okay, we have a very limited Pokedex nowadays. But for right now, coming back in Pokemon Home, gotta be A tier. I think he's very good. On that note, I think Hoopa is maybe a C tier Pokemon. I think Hoopa's a C tier Pokemon. Definitely not worthless. Don't think it's in D tier. Ability to terastallize is also going to be big for Hoopa and this guy. I definitely think that's huge, right? For regular Hoopa and Hoopa Unbound. This thing still hits really hard. It hits really good Spadef as well. These things can be AV users. Nasty Plot, Ghost and Psychic, but you can turn into a Dark type if you want. You turn to a Fairy type, etc. So turn to a normal type. Very cool. I'm gonna put him in C tier for now. I think he fits in pretty well with this squad. You maybe Thundy T should be a little higher, maybe. Tough to say. Yeah, I don't think this is worse than this. I'll put Thundy I and Thundy T in the B tier. I don't think I think I'm gonna put Azelf down at the bottom of B there. Okay, there they go. We'll have to see how they do. There's no need to wait any longer on Magearna. A tier, S tier, A tier, S tier. S tier from Magearna. You guys already know what it does. If it still gets the Fluor Cannon, if it still gets Calm Mind, its ability to terastallize is going to be massive. Such a good AV user with Volt Switch, etc. It can set up on you. Does it still get Shift Gear? We'll have to find out. I'm not going to look it up. I've been looking up too much stuff. But if it still gets Shift Gear, that's going to be massive for it. Water Sweeper. And yeah, we're going to put Magearna. Fairy Steel typing is so good, you guys. It's going to check so much. Terastallize into a flying type, dodge those ground attacks, and Terastallize into a water type and Calm Mind up, and it's like GG's, everybody. Put him in S tier. S tier for Magearna. It may even get banned. It depends on what it lost. If it lost a lot of stuff, let me know in the comments. Maybe it'll be definitely not UU. This is an OU, if not a banned Pokemon for sure. Alolan Muck is right here. Alolan Muck I also think is C tier. A very underrated Pokemon in Alolan Muck. Poison and Dark typing is so good, and its ability to terastallize again into something, a flying type to dodge the ground type attacks that it's weak to. What a good AV user with, it's got to keep knockoff and you know, Shadow Sneak and Poison Gunk Shot, etc. Just really good at AV and really good at poisoning you with the Poison Touch ability plus Poison Jab, a 60% chance to poison you when it touches you, plus Knockoff. There's no way if they took Knockoff, they've lost it. They've gone crazy. But I think Alolan Muck is really good. I'm going to put it in C tier. I think it'll probably maybe end up in RU. I just think it's a great Pokemon. I think it's Swords Dance as well, and Fire Punch, Ice Punch, really cool coverage. I really like Alolan Muck, especially that it's like a Gen 1 Pokemon remastered. Speaking of a Dark and Poison type, where's Overquill? Did I already do Overquill? Where is Overquill? Oh, there he is. Overquill, I think B tier, right? B tier, right? Yeah, B tier. What a powerful Pokemon. Again, Dark and Poison only being weak to the ground, and this thing has the Intimidate. It also has the Swift Swim ability. So I definitely see the 115 base attack, I believe. it has Swords Dance. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it's gonna hit extra hard in the rain, especially the ability to Terrastallize. I think I already covered this guy in my Hisuian tier list video. It's gonna hit really hard in the rain. It's gonna hit almost everything for super effective damage or blow things back with like Gunk Shot or the other poison move it gets, the Barbarrage, the Dark type if it gets Knockoff, not sure, but Liquidation as well, turning into a water type. It's gonna be very, very scary in the rain with base 85 speed. Can be really fast as well. I think it's a very scary Pokemon. I'm putting it in B tier. High B tier. Yeah, I think it's gonna see some OU usage, you guys. I think Rain is the winner. I think Rain is the winner of Pokemon Home. We'll have to see how it does. Of course, it gets Spikes, Destiny Bond, T-Spikes, all these things. So really cool Pokemon here. I'm gonna put him on high B tier. Yes, Overquill. Yes, Overquill. Let's go ahead and grab the Torns. Torn T. Yeah, I think, okay, so here's the thing about Torn T. They did him dirty. They took away Knockoff and Defog. So they nerfed the boy. That was his signature combo, was Knockoff, Defog, U-turn, Hurricane, right? Heat Wave. That's all you needed. Sometimes it was Rocky Helmet, sometimes it was AV, sometimes it still gets Nasty Plot, right? You can still be Nasty Plot, Hurricane, Heat Wave, whatever other coverage. Sometimes it used to run Icy Wind, crazy stuff, but they took off Knockoff. Sometimes they ran like Superpower and physical sets, but took off Defog. It was like the best defogger, right? Not banned to Ubers. I think it's gonna be S tier. I think it's gonna be similar to Zapdos, but you know, Zapdos, Lando, and Torn. You know, here they are. They did them all dirty. They all lost defog. So we'll have to see. And it lost Knock too, just like Lando. They all lost Knock. They all lost defog, except. So it's unfortunate, but we'll have to see how it is. Still very fast. Still has Regenerator. Still has U-turn. So I think S tier, guys. I can't put it in A. I think he's better than all these guys. He's faster than everybody. He still hits really hard, and I still think it can be like almost a defensive check. Rocky Helmet checks things like Kartana, but Kartana's not in the game, and so does Zapdos, but still has Nasty Plot options as well. So still think it's an S tier Pokemon. Really unfortunate about losing Knockoff and Defog. So it's certainly not as ban worthy as it used to be. I got banned last gen. I got banned. I think is it still banned from Nat Dex? I think he's banned from Nat Dex, but he still has those other moves in Nat Dex. So Hisuian Avalugg, I'm gonna put him in D tier. Yeah, I don't think he's as good as these Pokemon, to be honest with you. Again, it does have Rapid Spin, Recover, some really cool tech. Again, go watch my Hisuian breakdown tier listing I released a couple weeks ago if you want more in depth about all the Hisui Pokemon. I don't think he's worthless. He's not non-meta. I think I'll put him at the top of D tier. Rock and Ice obviously is pretty weak, but you can Terrastallize. But it gets Recover, Spin, it sets up hazards, and it gets some really cool moves like Avalanche is powerful. You can even run AV on it. It's a good Pokemon. I'll put him in high D tier. I maybe see him. People just don't respect Avalugg. He always ends up being an NU. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Who else do I think is good? Okay, there's Heatran. He's obviously, let's just grab Heatran while we're here. I think he's obviously S tier, right? I have Tran and S. Yeah, Tran is going to be an S tier Pokemon. Tran, it's always like top 10 usage. And Tran, what can you say? It destroys all the fairies. It destroys all fire types. It rocks on you. Magma Storm. Taunt. It doesn't have Toxic anymore, but it can Rocks Up. It can Flash Cannon. It's all you need. I wish it still got Toxic, but it doesn't have the Toxic anymore. I don't think so, but I still see it as just such a solid check it's got so much bulk, but it checks all, and now it can Terrastallize, right? It's gonna be a great turn into a water type. Turn it in Terra Blast Water on the ground types or a flying type. A lot of really cool options for Heatran. It's got to be an S tier Pokemon. It's like one of the best checks to the flying types, right? Magearna, if it misses, it can even eat Focus Blasts. Like, Now that it can dodge ground types with the Terra. And I don't know if it lost any moves. Like I said, I haven't looked up all these Pokemon, but I definitely see Tran as an easy S tier, bros. Easy S tier, brothers. Easy S tier. Okay, there he goes. Trash Pokemon and Calyrex. Where do I have Calyrex? D, non-meta. I have him in non-meta, bros. It's just so Grass and Psychic. If we're gonna use a Grass and Psychic, we'd be using Iron Leaves. This guy has no good moves and really mid stats. He's really just the rider of the Calyrex and Glastrier and Spectrier. We'll put him down here. It doesn't do much, man. It doesn't scare me anyway. Doesn't scare me anyway. I'd rather use Tauros. I'd rather use Taurus, maybe it terrestrializes though now. Hey, Calm Mind, Terrestrial, does it even get Calm Mind? It has to. He's the big brain Pokemon, but I don't see him as scary. I'll put him down here in non-meta. Let's grab Inteleon. Let's grab Inteleon. Inteleon D tier, maybe C tier. It's cool. It's fast. His base 120 speed. He's a little frail. His ability's a little weak, right? He's got what? The sniper ability. Maybe give it the Razor Claw. It's just like, it's not Greninja, right? It's gonna get blown back by like Meowscarada is there. Like all these, like this thing checks it forever, Volcanion. It's cool. It's not worthless. It's maybe almost C tier. I maybe see him in RU or NU. I'm gonna put him at the top of D tier. Is that where I have him? Do I have him there in Inteleon and D? He was just always kind of a big lead. I don't think he's quite as good as these guys. Maybe Hoopa's lower. Maybe Hoopa's down here. Maybe not. But I don't know. Inteleon, maybe top of D, maybe low C. Let me know where you think Inteleon belongs. It's your standard basic kind of speedy water Pokemon. Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, Snipe Shot. It gets U-turn. It could be a Specs U-turner. Hey, it could be a Specs U-turner. Could be a Specs U-turner. All right, let's grab Enamorus. Okay, I think Enamorus Incarnate. I think I'll put it in low A with the contrary ability. It does not get any flying moves, but it's a fast, very powerful fairy hitting on the special side. It may semi-check like Iron Valiant. It's gonna check like Great Tusk and a few other things. Dark types aren't going to appreciate it. Ground types don't appreciate it. So I'll put it in A tier. I think it's going to be scary. It's really yet to be seen what this Pokemon can do. Everybody's kind of waiting to see how good Enamorus is going to be. The superpower contrary. I think it gets Calm Mind, but you might not run contrary. It's only ability contrary. So we'll have to see how it does, you guys. It doesn't get Defog. It doesn't get Roost. I think its only flying move is Fly. So I think, you know, if it came... We'll have to see. Is it going to be even better than Togekiss? Togekiss isn't in the game, but would it be as good as Togekiss? We don't know. I'm going to put it in low A for right now. We'll have to see how it does. And I think I'll put its Therian form in B. This thing's going to be a really cool Calm Mind user. I think this thing, I'll put it up here in high B. I think it's going to be very bulky, tough to deal with, especially if it wants to terrestrialize into something else, right? You name it. Flying Fairy, what does that want to try? Just water type or grass type? Or no, neither of those. Electric, poison. I don't even know. Steel. Steel would be great for this thing. Terra Blast. We'll have to see, guys. I think it's Overcoat. We'll have to see how it does. You know, the other genies, they're around here. High usage, OU, UU. Maybe some fall down into RU, but that's just an estimate, guys. We'll have to see how it actually does. We'll have to see how it does. It gets some cool coverage, good moves, but no flying coverage. So maybe they'll have to terrestrialize pure flying. Maybe we'll have to see how it does, you guys. That's my estimate, though. A and then B for Incarnate and Therian, respectively. Okay, look at these birds. Okay, so this is good. I think Galarian Zapdos is going to be A tier, right? I think A tier, base 100 speed, base 125 attack, and flying and fighting, and actually gets like close combat, Brave Bird, U-turn. I don't know if it gets Swords Dance. Does it get Swords Dance? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it does not. According to my notes, I actually have him in B tier. I actually have him down here in B tier. We'll have to see, guys. This thing is always, it gets Defiant as well. It's really good. My notes say B tier, but I think it could be low A tier even, guys. What do you think? What do you think? Zapdos, Galar, high B, A. I see him being used in OU. I think he checks things like Great Tusk pretty hard. It gets checked by a lot of these things really hard. Zappy, etc. But maybe high B, maybe very high B, maybe even low A, guys. That's tough. That's tough. I'm gonna put him in low A. It's tough. I think he's a very powerful, very scary Pokemon. Baxcalibur clicks Ice Shard though. It's gonna have to run Jolly now because Baxcalibur is at base 300. It gets 300 when it runs Jolly. So I think it's very solid, very strong, scary Pokemon. It can break holes in you, and Defiance is very good. I've been wanting to do Rillaboom for a long time now, so I think it's also an A tier Pokemon. Is that where I put Rillaboom? Big A tier, yeah. Guys, Grassy Terrain is back. I don't think we have any Grassy Terrain setters, right? Do we? I don't know. Rillaboom's so scary with Grassy Glide. Did they make him lose Grassy Glide? Did it lose Grassy Glide? It was a huge threat in Gen 8. Very high usage OU. Some people say Meowscarada. I did a poll. I think better grass starter, Meowscarada or Rillaboom. I think Meowscarada just won out, but man, Rillaboom is so scary, you guys. Swords Dance, the banded set, gets U-turn. Did it probably lost knockoff because they went crazy? I gotta check. Keeps knockoff. It keeps knockoff. Does it keep Grassy Glide? It keeps, it does not keep Grassy Glide. Guys, I think it lost Grassy Glide. Grassy Surge, Grassy Terrain. They did him so dirty. Wow. Good thing I looked it up. It's not gonna be nearly as good without grass. Okay, that makes me think for sure there'll be a move tutor dropped maybe in the DLC part 2, maybe in DLC part 1. There's no, okay, if it does not have Grassy Glide, still Woodhammer hits really hard, but maybe B without Grassy Glide, but when it gets Grassy Glide back, A, OU, but without Grassy Glide, Meowscarada is much better. I mean, yeah, you can set up terrain, but what are you gonna do then? You don't have Grassy Glide anymore. Your whole shtick was the Grassy Glide banded or Swords Dance set. What are you gonna do? Just U-turn out and putting them in low B now? That's trash. Yeah, it's trash. That's so dumb, Game Freak. So dumb. You make things like this or take away Grassy Glide? It's crazy talk. Crazy talk, brothers. Okay, let's see. Weirdeer. Let's grab Weirdeer. Another Hisuian original. I think I have Weirdeer in D tier. I think again, go watch the Hisuian tier list video, but I think it has some cool tech. It doesn't look like he excels in any area. I would have liked to see this thing get like speed boost or something crazy. It was a normal and psychic type. I think maybe like it does get like, I think agility, but I think maybe a weakness policy set is gonna work well for this guy. It gets some cool moves, has good coverage, but it doesn't hit very hard, it looks like. It doesn't have enough speed, and psychic normal is okay, but I think we have him. I'm gonna put him at high D tier for Weirdeer. What else? Oh, let's grab Hisuian Arcanine while we're in Hisui. Yeah, A tier, I believe. Not quite S, but I think this thing is an absolute monster, dude. Definitely, I think he's tough to put him over like Thundy, but I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I can't believe they did that to Rillaboom though. Yeah, I think Hisuian Arcanine is up here. I think I'm gonna put him right next to Volcanion almost, dudes. I think he's gonna hit so hard with Banded Head Smash with Rockhead and Flare Blitz, and he gets that Raging Fury, which is basically Fire type Outrage. Still gets like Play Rough, Close Combat, Wild Charge, which doesn't phase it. I mean, I still get Will-O-Wisp. That'd be really cool. But I'm gonna put him in A tier, guys. I think he's gonna hit really hard as a spec or a banded user, and even as a choice scarf user. Maybe even a heavy duty boots would be great for him as well. He's gonna do big damage. Not a lot of things resist both fire and rock. Really great offensive coverage for him. So love to see Hisuian Arcanine. I'm gonna put him right there in A tier. I think that's a good spot for him. Yeah. Guys, Arcanine I think is my favorite Pokemon of all time. Love Gyarados too. Love Zapdos. Love the whole Bulbasaur line. Yeah, I'm a Gen 1. You already know Gen 1. But yeah, I think an A tier Pokemon for sure for Arc. Hisuian Arc, that is. Galarian Moltres. I have it in B tier on my notes here. Yeah, it's one of those Pokemon that doesn't mind that it doesn't have Roost because it never got it in the first place. If it didn't lose, it still gets Nasty Plot. I looked it up. And it still gets the Berserk ability, so I think it's still going to be doing what it did in the past. I think maybe high B tier for this guy. I think Dark and Flying, it's going to be the better Iron Hugulus, better Iron Jugs. So yeah, Nasty Plot and hitting things with the Hurricane and that dark move, dark Destruction. Really cool move. Really cool Pokemon, and doesn't mind like rocks even, because like it's pretty bulky. And it loves that, like, it likes to run, like, Rest, Sleep Talk set. So you can run Chesto on this guy, Chesto Resto. So it's one of those Pokemon that if you're not prepared for it definitely can sweep you very quickly with Nasty Plot, the Berserk ability. Dark Flying is a really good typing, especially offensive. Defensively, too. Mandibuzz, Yveltal. Great Pokemon, guys. I'm going to put it in mid B tier. If you play it right, it can be, yeah, I think just below maybe Galarian Zapdos, but I'll put it right here in mid B tier. Great Pokemon. Love it. Maybe it lost some of these moves, guys. Maybe a lot of this I'm wrong on, because maybe a lot of these have lost moves. But again, I'm taking into account how good they've been in the past. Game Freak went crazy, and I don't have the time a week long to make notes on every single one of these Pokemon, every move that they lost. But maybe someone else did. Let me know in the comments. Comment for me. Helps me out. Please leave a comment. Okay. On that note, Meloetta. How about Meloetta? Okay, guys. I think Meloetta is actually. I'm gonna put it high C tier. Let's put it right next to. Let's put it right here. I think do I have it in C tier, Meloetta? Yeah, I do. I have Meloetta in C tier. It still is able to turn into a fighting and normal type with the Relic Song, and it's really bulky on the special side. It can even be an AV user. It could be a Specs user. It could be a Scarfer. It's got great bulk. It's got good speed, and it's got good attack power, and it's got pretty good coverage. I'm not sure if it gets Calm Mind. I think it does. I think it's immune to Ghost, right? And I think it's going to be able to like Oko some things, right? I think the Psychic's gonna be able to hit things and other things. I mean, if you bring in a Steel type on it, it's gonna turn into the fighting form and hit that. Yeah, it's not gonna be able to do everything, right? It's not gonna be able to check. I mean, actually a lot of things it does really well. I'm just gonna put it in C tier, high C tier. I think it usually ends up being around an RU. It's just not a bad Pokemon, but normal Psychic isn't phenomenal. Obviously, it's not the best, but I think with its build and its ability to turn and even like sometimes put you to sleep, I think it's a cool Pokemon. I think it's a U-turn too. Don't quote me on that, but we'll have to see. Okay, Galarian Goodra. Do I have him in B tier? Do I have Galarian Goodra? Yeah, or no, Hisuian Goodra. Yeah, I have it in B tier. Yeah, guys, Hisuian Goodra, so tanky. Again, go watch the Decidueye video, the Hisuian tiering video if you haven't already. This guy is definitely powerhouse. He's got that curse set. It's looking very scary. He also gets a ton of special coverage. It can be a bulky curse setup. It can be a Specs user. It can even be an AV user, and it's never going to take any damage. The only dragon and Steel type coming into the game. It's going to be really, really cool. Guys, I think it's going to be a great Specs user. I think it's going to be a great AV user, and if it's not, it's going to be... guys, I think it's high B tier. I think it's high. I think put it at the very top of B. I can't wait for it. I watched Joey put out a video. He was like, he didn't think it was that good. I was like, bro, like, and then I think people in this chat were like, you're underestimating it. I think high B, if not even A, but I think UU at lowest. I think I see some OU usage. It's a cool Pokemon, guys. Can't wait to use it. Go watch the video for a full breakdown. Go watch the Hisuian breakdown. Another Pokemon that I think is gonna, okay, let's look at Hisuian Raichu, or Galarian Raichu. I have it in C. Yeah, I have it actually in lower C because it'll be the only electric psychic type in the game, and it's another tool for electric terrain teams, so it may bring some usage back to Pincurchin and help out on those Quark Drive teams and other Pokemon like Iron Treads and Iron Valiant. It may work really well with Iron Valiant, resisting the things that Iron Valiant is weak to. I think it's gonna be a great addition to electric terrain teams. So, and again, it's pretty fast at 110 speed. And if it still gets access to Nasty Plot, it still gets like Surf, Psychic, T-Bolt, Focus Blast. Really cool Pokemon, even not on terrain. I know it's a little frail, but it can put in big work, you guys. If it gets up a Nasty Plot and you can't outspeed it, it's got the coverage. I think it's Grass Knot too. It's got the coverage to Oko you. Give it a Life Orb, and if you do put it on an electric terrain team, it's very, very fast. So I think it's definitely gonna see some usage. It's gonna be really annoying. I'm gonna put it in C tier, guys. I'm gonna put it right here in C tier, actually. I think, and you know, its ability to terrestrialize to a fighting type, something like that, water type. Go crazy on it. Go crazy. Put it on a rain team. Slowking Galar. Slowking Galar, I believe, is an A tier Pokemon, guys. I think it's doing the same thing it was doing before. AV. You can even Calm Mind up if you want, but its biggest move is the AV with the Regenerator, with the Sludge Bomb, the Psychic. I think it gets great coverage. Like I think it gets Fire Blast, Ice Beam, gets Slack Off. Does it get Slack Off? It does not get Teleport though. I know that because I drafted it thinking it got Teleport. Does it get Spikes? I think it gets Toxic Spikes. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me double check. Yeah, it's gonna get Nasty Plot, that Eerie Spell move, Acid Spray. Let's see. Let me do a search. Toxic Spikes, and it gets Toxic. It gets Toxic and Toxic Spikes, so that's cool. But you know, you're not gonna be able to run AV. Taunt is there, really great. Yeah, it gets Trick. Interesting. Surf, Psychic, Flamethrower. There's Calm Mind, Ice Beam, Nasty Plot, Fire Blast, Hydro Pump, Blizzard, Sludge Bomb, EQ. I know this thing even likes to run Body Press. It's great. It gets its own Trick Room. Yeah, Shadow Ball. Guys, I think very good T-Wave. There's Grass Knot. Yeah. So interesting Pokemon. A lot of great coverage for this guy. Definitely, I think A tier Pokemon. Yeah, A tier Pokemon for this guy. AV and Poison and Psychic. With an AV, it just checks so much. It's so hard to hit it super effectively on the special side. Great Pokemon. I'm gonna put him in A tier. AV Regenerator combo. It's so good. Future Sight. Future Sight. There we go. Very powerful. Can't wait to use it. Galarian Articuno. I considered putting this in C tier because I think at 95 base speed and it's Hurricane and Freezing Glare. I think it's got some viability. I think I maybe ended up putting it in top of D tier, but I think maybe even low C. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this, but I don't think it'll be OU, maybe not even UU, but maybe RU at the lowest. No Roost, no Defog. It does get Recover though, unless they removed that. It was the only one of the Galarian original bird trio that got recovery outside of Rest. So I think I'll put it in low C or top of D. Just Flying and Psychic is kind of weak, but if it got Defog, that'd be great. It does get U-Turn. I don't think it gets Nasty Plot, but I think it does get Calm Mind. I think it's a cool Pokemon. I don't think it's worthless. I think maybe RU. I don't know if I should put it in C or D tier, but I think I ended up putting it in D. Compared to the rest of the meta, I got to put it down in D. Right? There's so many things that are gonna just sweep right through it. So we'll put it in D tier. What are you doing? I haven't talked about you. Torn Eye. Still got the Prankster, but does not have the Defog anymore. And it's always been, where did I put him? I'll put him in, I think he's a C tier Pokemon, right? Where did I put? Yeah, Torn Eye right here. Maybe high C tier. It's, you know, Rain Dance, it can set up Tailwinds, it can U-turn out, it can bulk up, Nasty Plot. So I'm putting it at the top of C tier. I still think it's a good Pokemon. Really fast. Prankster is great, but no Defog is not gonna help it much at all. And of course, it's gonna get outclassed by his big brother, other things, and not that bulky of a Pokemon. Can definitely get OHKO'd by things that hit really hard. I'm gonna put him at the top of C tier there. Speaking of C tier, it's just not C tier. Does it still get that Belly Drum set? Does it still get Leech Seed and Drain Punch? Salac Berry, can it still run that set? That's really, yeah, Belly Drum Salac. That was really powerful. It actually makes really good use of Grass Fighting. Do I have it in C tier? My notes have them in D tier, guys. My notes have them down here in D. Oh man, we'll have to see. Yeah, I think there's other grass types that are much better. I don't even know what Rillaboom's gonna be anymore, dudes, after its big L. But maybe I'll put Chestnut in low C. I don't think he's worthless. It gets a seed set. It gets some cool coverage. It can set up unless they nerfed it, unless they took away Belly Drum and bulk up. And the thing is, now we can terrestrialize. So I'll put it in the bottom of C tier, maybe even above Delphox. I don't know. I don't think Delphox is that bad. Guys, I think Delphox is underrated. But yeah, its ability to terrestrialize make it pretty scary. If it gets Synthesis, that'd be great for it, which I don't think it does, but it might. Let me know in the comments. I'll put him in the bottom of C for right now. Don't think it's worthless, but it is quad weak to flying. So another C tier Pokemon, I believe. Hisuian Braviary. It's cool. It gets that sheer force and it gets tinted lens, I believe. So it's gonna hit really hard with Hurricane and the Esper Wing, and I don't know if it gets U-turn, but I'm gonna put it in the middle of C tier. It's yet to be determined, guys. It's yet to be determined. I think it'll end up probably being RU at best. We'll have to see if it starts setting up Calm Minds. I don't know if it gets like bulk up. I know the other Braviary does, but it may get some crazy tech where it's able to like set up. But I think really it's just going to enjoy being a Specs user and hitting really hard with a tinted lens, and maybe even a Life Orb Sheer Force will hit really hard as well. Hurricane on Sheer Force is there as well. So I'm gonna put it maybe in C, maybe high C. Not the juice, you guys, not the fruit drink. Okay, and we're almost finished actually. Let's grab, we just did Hisui boy. Let's grab regular Moltres. Okay, I think what, C for Hisui or D or B? Moltres, I think I had C. Yeah, because it actually saw some big usage in Gen, it actually moved up to OU, I believe, last gen, but it was really used as a defensive wall with, or defensive pivot with heavy duty boots and U-turn, that flame body, but it also was able to hit with like Hurricane, Flamethrower, things like this, but now it's lost Defog. So that was a big move for this guy. It can't really be a Specs user because it's weak to rocks. So if you're gonna run Moltres with boots, like you want to be able to get it in defensively, maybe get that flame body burn and defog things, but you can't defog anymore. So I think it's gotta be a C tier Pokemon now, guys, because it can still roost and hope for a burn, maybe U-turn out, but it was really good at defogging things. And I mean, fire flying with boots and defensive is really actually really good as a physical check, like defensive. That's why you see defensive Talonflame, even defensive Charizard. But this thing still gets roost. It lost Defog, which does not help it at all. So it's got to be maybe mid C tier for a Cantonian Moltres. Maybe it'll be higher. Maybe it'll be higher, but it can still roost. I don't know. We'll put it in a mid-high C. Not the juice. Zarude. Maybe B tier, you guys. Maybe even above. Maybe he's hanging out with Rillaboom now. Not as good as Meowscarada. It's bulkier and it has like setup options, unlike Meowscarada. U-turn like Meowscarada. Maybe it still has knockoff. Maybe they got rid of that. Bulk up is there, unlike Meowscarada. I think I already said that. Does it get Swords Dance? Don't think so. But I think Meowscarada is going to make sure this guy doesn't see OU, and he didn't see OU anyway. I think it ended up being a solid UU Pokemon. I think it might still stay UU, actually. It hits hard. It's pretty fast. It's got good bulk. It's got that jungle healing move. Gets rid of your status and recovers a quarter of your health. I'll put it down here with these guys. I'll put it down here kind of mid-low B, right? We'll have to see. Is that what I did? Is that what I put him here? Yeah, Zarude, mid-low B. We'll put him right there. Put him right there, and let's grab, we'll save this, save boy for last. We'll grab a Galarian Slowbro. Guys, I don't know. I don't think he's B. I think Slowking outclasses. I think we'll put him in, yep, I think we'll put him right around here. Put him right around here. Yeah. I don't know, guys. It's hard to say because this thing gets a really cool move pool. It has like base 100 attack and base 100 special attack. It's slow. It might function well on slow, on Trick Room teams. I know it does get like Iron Defense, it gets Calm Mind, it gets Slack Off, T-Wave, and all that coverage that the Slowbro family, Slowpoke family gets. So I have to put it in C tier. Is that what I did with him? Where did I put him? Yep, Slowbro Galar there. I have him in lower C. So we'll have to see. Regenerator is there, of course. You can run AV on it, but we'll have to see, right? It could be a future sight, Calm Mind, T-Waver, Regenerator out, Slack Off. So we'll put him in C tier. I think he'll end up maybe being RU. We'll have to see what happens. We'll put him right here by Regieleki. Regieleki might be even higher. We'll do that. And then finally, we have Hisuian Typhlosion, another ghost and fire type, underrated Pokemon. In my, I don't think quite B tier, right? What do I have? Do I also have him in C tier? I also have him in C tier as well. So I think this could almost be a B tier Pokemon. I think its kit does, the way just looking at its kit on paper, you have to kind of think about it. But I think Fire and Ghost actually has such good offensive coverage. And as we know from Skeledirge, Skeledirge is definitely going to outclass this thing with its unaware ability and its recovery and its torch song. So I definitely can't see this guy being quite B tier like these other guys. This guy might even fall down to C with no Grassy Glide. I can't believe they did that, but I think he'll be good. I think maybe high C. I'm going to put him in high C because it's going to be a great Specs user, and the Infernal Parade is going to be very powerful. It's still going to be a good Scarlet Specs user. Eruption is scary. I'm gonna put him in high C. Again, for a full breakdown on what this guy can do, check out the Hisuian tier video. I'll link it on the card at the end of this video. But I'm gonna put him in high C here because I don't think he's worthless. I think he's good. I think maybe RU, maybe UU. I think he's gonna be better than people expect. So that's about it, you guys. I know this isn't a full breakdown of everything they can do, but there were 60 Pokemon here. So I didn't want to make this video too long. So if you guys enjoyed this, if you like it, please drop a like. Please, 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 I do this work for you guys. And if you disagree, tell me in the comments. I know I'm probably missing some things. I'm sure some things have lost some moves that I missed. If you disagree with something being in the wrong tier or a different tier is way better than I'm giving it credit for, put it in the comments. Let me know. So that way I can be better. We can all get better. So I love you guys so much. That's about it for right now. Have a look. Let me know if you think there's anything else that needs to be lower or higher. That's it, guys. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment. I love y'all so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Take care. God bless.